Welcome back, guys. Do you remember this woman's claim?
Women don't walk away from relationships or marriages unless they're almost put against the wall too. Men are not very good at calling off relationships. So what they do is they misbehave and they abuse a woman until she walks away.
This is part 2 of that woman's video where she conveniently left the fact that a lot of the women who file for divorces, they do it because they are unhappy. Let's watch the next video of this woman where she says that being unhappy is a good enough of a reason for a woman to leave a marriage or a relationship.
So there was something my therapist said to me in the heat of my divorce that I think everybody that's ever been through it, going through it, needs to hear. And I actually had to say it to a lot of my coaching clients this week, and I realized I've never told you guys.
All right, let's go ahead and pause her video for just one moment and let's analyze her comments. She was going through a divorce and she is a dating or relationship coach. And she went to a therapist to get some help as she was going and dealing with her divorce. And her therapist gave her one piece of advice. And let me know in the comment section if you guys can guess what was the advice of her therapist. Which now she took that advice and now she is telling every single one of her clients to do.
I told her I felt stupid for wanting to leave because he was, a good guy, like a nice guy. And she already knew why I wasn't happy and all the things. And she looked me dead square in the eyes and said, Lacey, being unhappy is a good enough reason to leave.
How many of you guys got it right that being unhappy is enough of a reason, or it is sufficient reason for a woman to leave any relationship with a good man or a marriage with a good man despite the man being a good man?
It doesn't have to be something massive. It doesn't have to be abuse, whether that is emotional or physical. It doesn't have to be alcoholism or an addiction.
And I thought that every single one of these women who file for divorce is because their husband or their man has been abusive, pushing them against the wall, almost forcing them to file for divorce because they are misbehaving or they're being abusive, and women have no other choice than to file for divorce. And here's this woman saying that any woman can leave any relationship or any marriage despite the man being a good man, that if she is unhappy, that is good enough of a reason for her to end any type of relationship. And this is a coach, guys. Remember this. This is a coach. So if any of you guys have a girlfriend and you guys got into a fight in an argument and she is in that state of emotion of unhappiness, and if your girl happens to find this woman, this coach, guess what kind of advice this woman will tell your girl? You bet your ass that that girl is going to come back home, he's going to dump your ass, and she's going to walk out of that relationship because she is not happy. Here is the perfect example when we say that single women are good at keeping other women single. And a married woman's worst enemy is a single, bitter woman like that one, like that coach.
Being unhappy is a good enough reason to leave because your happiness is important. And I realized with a lot of the clients that I coach, both male and female, they have all felt the same way. Like they don't pull the trigger because they don't think they have a good enough reason.
The problem with the word happy or unhappy, it is very subjective, especially in today's society. Anything and everything can make you unhappy, and hardly anything makes you happy. And if you pay close enough attention to a lot of these women's video where they say what gives them the ick or what is a turn off, and they start listing things that are totally stupid and unimportant, and you just cannot believe the amount of stupidity a lot of women are putting in the list of things that turns them off or gives them the ick. Every single one of those things can be a reason for them to leave your ass. Instead of looking at themselves in the mirror and say, what can I do to avoid this problem, to better our relationship? But it is a lot easier just to walk away from the relationship. Why put in all of the work to try to fix something? See, if I were to take this woman's advice, or my wife would have taken this woman's advice, our marriage would have ended a long time ago. Especially a lot of the divorces and marriages happen within the first 6 or 7 years. Why? Because that's when you are getting to know each other. And that's when a lot of friction happens. That's when a lot of arguments happen because you're still trying to learn how to coexist with each other. And if I or my wife would have taken this woman's advice that just because she is unhappy or I am unhappy, as she said that she had some male clients too, that I would have taken her advice, I would have divorced my wife some 5 years into the marriage. But because we were able to work on our differences and on our challenges, we are able to overcome all of those problems. And thankfully, I can say successfully, we have been able to sustain and maintain a very healthy, very good, solid marriage for 22 years. But it hasn't been easy. Now that we have been married for all of these many years, it has become a lot easier because we both understand each other and we both know our roles in our marriage. She knows to stay in her lane and I know to stay in mine, and we both work together as a team to accomplish the same goal.
And I'm here to tell you that your happiness, your peace, your mental health is a good enough reason for you to make decisions. Because you deserve that, your partner deserves that, and your children deserve that, whether that is together or apart. So the best thing you can give to this world is to be the happiest, healthiest version of you, whether that is with your person or not, and only you can make that decision. But being unhappy is a good enough reason to leave, especially if you can't be yourself, because living in misery every day is not it.
Here's the one thing that I'm going to agree with her is that you do have to be yourself. However, you also need to keep in mind that when you're living by yourself, all the decisions that you make will only affect you. Once you bring someone into your life, the decisions that you will make will also have an effect on that other person. And so we have to be aware that when we are in a relationship, we are going to have to compromise. We have to make some changes in order for the relationship to work. And this is one of the things that it takes a lot of work and it requires a lot of effort on both parts in order to make that a success. But in this case of this woman, it's advising people that it's a lot easier just to end a relationship if you're not happy. But let's go ahead and watch this other video of this other woman that is going to tell us why women really leave relationships.
Today, you all, we have got to get into the aftermath of leaving a good man. See, way too often when it comes to women, we always feel like, if I have this good man, I can get a better him, right? We don't see that man as somebody that is of value, somebody that should be treasured, appreciated, held on tightly to. We don't have that mentality a lot of the times. A lot of the times when it comes to women, it's like, well, I can always upgrade.
In other words, that type of woman that has the mentality that there's always something better or that the pasture is greener on the other side, that type of woman is the type of woman that will always be out on the lookout for a better, quotations, a better man, whatever better in her eye is. She can be married and she can have kids, but she will always want to have an eye out for something better. She will always have in the back of her mind that she has settled and that one day someone's going to come along the way that it's going to be an upgrade, as the woman said. And the moment she finds this guy, she will be out of the relationship, despite how good this man is, how caring, how loving, how God-fearing this man is.
I can always replace. I can always, find somebody else that is going to be richer, taller, finer, better in bed, sweeter, you name it, right? And unfortunately, a lot of us find out the hard way that that's not necessarily true.
And she forgot to mention when that will happen. And that will happen when she realizes that she's nothing but a pump and dump. When these women realize that men are not taking them serious, and they realize that no men want to have any serious relationship with them, that's when they're going to realize that they had a good man. And the next thing that we'll see is they're going to start asking, where are the good men at? Where a lot of the good men were in the friend zone, or the good man that was in her life was her ex-husband that she decided to leave for someone better. And now she found herself that that better man no longer wants her because she was not wife material to this man. Unfortunately, this is the reality that a lot of the divorced women who had a good man in their lives are finding out, just to regret it. I did a quick search on TikTok of women over 50 regretting divorce, and there's hundreds of videos of these women just saying how they have regretted the decision that they made. But by this point, it's too late. So my advice to all of you guys who are looking into getting into a relationship, you need to take your time in the vetting process of that woman. You need to screen her carefully. You need to get to know her friends, and you need to get to know her family. You're going to learn a lot about her by interacting with these two groups of people. At the same time, guys, you need to work out. You need to take care of yourself. Do not let yourself go just because you are in a relationship. You need to continue to work on yourself, and you have to be on your grind 24/7 until you achieve the success and the goals that you want to. You cannot let anything come in between you and those goals, either for yourself if you're single or for your family if you have a family. You need to be focused and you need to be goal oriented. And if you don't have any of those two things, you need to start working on some goals, set them in motion, and start working on them. You need to set a 5-year and a 10-year goal. And you need to have at least of a minimum of 3 short-term goals that you need to be currently working on. You need to put the controllers down and you need to put those video games down. You need to find ways to make extra money if that is what you need. And you need to eat healthy. You need to have enough sleep. Do not give in to drugs and alcohol. They're not good for you. You're going to pay dearly with your life later on. So you need to watch your six at all times, guys. And I'll see you next time.